So I'm sitting here doing my email, actually kind of prepping for my show that I'm about to tape for Wine Library TV, and I'm going through my email, and once again, I get another email that I get all the time. Gary, how do I monetize my blog? How do we make money on my video blog? How do we make money doing what we do? My show. How do I make money? Where am I going to make money? I need to make money. I get it. It makes sense. Monetizing is where it's at, my friends. That's why you have to do it, and that's why you need to think about it in a very simple, concise way. The way you're going to make money online, and by the way, anywhere, but especially right now as social media is developing and our shows and different shows out there are building a fan base, and we have to convince the buying public, the advertisers out there, the way you're going to make money while the big boys are maybe out of your league, where you're not ready to give a PowerPoint presentation and wear a tie and go to Madison Avenue, the way you're going to make money is by grabbing it. And let me show you exactly, because I get this email all the time. I'm actually making this GaryVaynerchuk.com to be selfish, so I can send this link to every person that emails me about this, because I get this email 16 to 18 times a day. The way you want to make money is by grabbing it. So if I were you, I would do this. I would go to Google. Zoom it in time, baby. Let's zoom it in here. Beautiful. I would go to Google, and let's say you've got a beer show. I would type in beer, and then what I would do is I would look over here. So look, beer, there are all these beer sites, all these different beer sites, and I would look at what they are. And so here's, different custom beer glasses. So I would click this one, pubglasses.com. Sorry, pubglasses.com, I just cost you a couple of cents, but it's all in the word of community and helping people. I'd go to this site, I'd see what they have. They have a lot of different things. They have clothing. They have all this stuff. They're in Austin, Texas. They're a small business as well. And if I had a video show about beer that had 700, 900, even 2,000 viewers, or if I had a beer blog, I would find the phone number of this place. That's what I would do. I would find it out about, scroll down. Here you go. Here's a phone number. I'd pick it up. 458-4438. This is super live. I have not set these guys up. I don't even know why I'm doing this right now. But I would call them, and I would ask them about advertising.
Hello?
Hello, who would I speak to about you guys possibly advertising on my beer blog?
That's me, the owner, Dean.
Dean, how are you? This is Gary Vaynerchuk. I run a wine blog on the internet, and I'm thinking about launching a beer blog show.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if I was able to build up my audience to 2,000 or 3,000 people daily, would your site have interest in maybe buying advertising or being a sponsor of a show, or to bring attention to your pubglasses.com website?
Possibly. What are your rates going to be? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to gauge. I mean, I saw that you advertised on Google, so I'm just trying to gauge. I'm actually recording this to try to figure out if this is like a good way to get sponsorship. But I'm going to try to build up some audience, and then I will reach out to you with real numbers, so I'm not just jerking your chain. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Google's the premier way to advertise, just because people are actively searching for something.
No question.
Boom! I hit them in the face with
I think you're doing a great job. I think that if I have 500 to 2,000 people watching a 20-minute beer show every single day, that they're obviously going to be very targeted advertising for you, and maybe we can, Google, who knows what their intent is when they search, and you're paying for it. But if I've got, 1,500 to 2,000 beer aficionados watching my show 20 minutes a day every day, that there's a chance that they'll go out and, that's a very targeted audience for you.
Yeah, but there's tens of thousands of
millions on Google, my friend.
Times we come up on Google. But anyway, whenever you get it up and running, I'll be glad to talk to you about it a little more.
I appreciate it, man.
I really like to push the personalized wine glasses, and I can, it's not really feasible doing it out of state, but we personalize wine bottles. I have some here. It's a wine bottle that someone brought me, and they're giving it as a gift, so we etch, thank you, or happy holidays, happy birthday, whatever, etch it right onto the full bottle of wine.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you know, one of the things that we could do advertising-wise is if I have a lot of people watching the show, maybe we could do some sort of affiliate deal where any lead that comes from me, you could pay me on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, well, I'll get my stuff rolling and then we'll reach out.
Okay.
All right, take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. Ma, you like that, right? I stepped up. That was pretty cool, right? So anyway, I mean, at the end of the day, I had no intentions of doing that, and that could have gone, you know, really poorly. And obviously, you could see he was like, Google is the premier, you know, so he's got his ways. But you've got to convince them. You see, I didn't just give up and say, oh, okay, Google. You got to tell them what you possibly can do. Maybe you could do an affiliate program. So obviously, that's just one little box. Might get back in here. One little box on Google. There are a ton of boxes. You know, there are just a ton of different things. I mean, it could be about anything. Maybe you're into Smurfs. Maybe I always talk about doing small things like Smurfs. So let's let's put in Smurfs, Mott. I mean, let's zoom in here. Take a look at this. Here we go. A lot of Yahoo. You've got to look through Toys R Us. Obviously, we're not going to get Toys R Us. But here's Arsa Toys. ArsaToys.com. Arsa Toys, here it is. They sell Smurf figurines. They've got a blog. So what would I do? I'd call their toll-free number and I'd reach out. And I would spend 5 to 10 times the time that I spend on putting out a show or content on going out and finding sponsors and selling them on the rationale to why you're better off. If I'm doing a Smurf show and I have 1,800 viewers, that's nothing, right? There's tens of thousands of people using Google. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that it's very targeted, and I could probably convince Arsa Toys for at least an affiliate program or something of that nature. And you've just got to go out there and hustle. You've got to go out there and find people. Or let's say you're in the technology space. I would go to a site like TechCrunch or Centered Networks, and I would go to their site. You see a lot of these sites out there, guys, where you look and they show you your sponsors. So if Rackspace and Crush Plan Pro and Go Grid and, you know, Lay Web are advertising on these sites, and then I would go to, CenterNetworks.com, and I'd go to this site, and I would look, and I would see, oh, look, he's got boxes. So what's Cloud Contacts? Let's zoom in on Cloud Contacts. You know, so what I would do, guys, if I was in the technology space, there's a very neat little site called Pop URLs. If you don't know it, you should check it out. Pop URLs. POPURLS.com. And if you go to the bottom, there's something called Quickies and Voices. And I would click every one of these sites because these are cool little important sites, and I would see who's advertising there. You know, and I would link up to and go after them. Cold calling, asking people, convincing them why my space and what I do is valuable to them. Just like I did right there. If you want ad revenue and you can't get to the big boys yet, and Madison Avenue isn't ready for it yet, and you're a niche, then Google your way to finding the people that are advertising in your space and sell them and grab it. You've got to take it. That's how you're going to get it. There is nobody dominating the top 200 in the real estate sector in podcast. Everybody here has the chance tomorrow to start a podcast that's evergreen. What happens in real estate, which is what happens in so many other industries, is we default into selling too much and not enough into branding. I love selling. Let me tell you the best way to sell in the world. Have the customer come to you without you doing anything. You didn't buy your Nikes. I would argue that everybody in this audience right now bought 85 to 90% of the clothes they're wearing right now because of brand, not because of sales. If you don't know how to market, you have to be a good salesperson. If you know how to market, you blow away the next 10 best salespeople. Nike didn't call me and sell me this in a catalog. I bought this swoosh because it's ingrained in my soul. Do you understand what this little fucking swoosh is? This fucking sneaker is a commodity. You and I can make this right now in China. But this fucking swoosh is worth $1 trillion. People are fucking confused out here. Every one of you is wearing clothes right now that's a commodity, but you chose it for a reason. Do you understand? It's only brand. Branding wins every day of the week, but it's hard. I think I've been a great salesman my whole life because I don't sell things that I don't believe in. Like, I believe that I am going to build one of the most significant intellectual properties of all time. I really believe that Practical Peacock can be like Lisa Simpson one day. As you can imagine, that gives me the energy to go so hard. I say to them, I'm like, why are you selling something you don't believe in? And I know the answer. People have lives and this is where they find themselves and they have mortgages and kids. Like, you know, I get it, but there's so many people that could be doing other things, but like, what's most important to me? That I believe in it.
Austin asks, "Hey Gary Vee, I'm a sales consultant for Best Buy selling computers. What advice can you give me to be a better salesman?"
Austin, I think you need to reverse engineer who you're selling to. So if I were you, Austin, I would spend all of January taking people out to lunch and dinner or a drink or getting them on the phone, but literally spending the entire month of January not selling to people and just listening to the people that you sell to figure out what their pain points are. I would walk in and be like, hey D-Rock, you know I sell you computer stuff and things of that nature. What are your pain points? What's your problem? What's your struggles in your business? Like, let's cut the crap. Like, yes, I wanna sell to you, but let's take a step back. I wanna sell to you by providing you some sort of value. Maybe I have a friend. Maybe I will recommend that you watch the Ask Gary Vee show to make your business better. Maybe I'll do a lot of things, but what I'm doing is I'm providing you value, and our conversation and our relationship is not just predicated on me selling. You know, it's kind of like, I was talking to one of my friends, he's like, I wanna have better relationships with girls. I'm like, cool, why don't you make it something about other than sex? Like, if your whole relationship is like, I wanna hang out with you every time to just hook up, there's probably a good chance that person doesn't think that you're providing them much value outside of that execution, which is a fine execution, everybody needs it, I get it, blah, blah, blah. Same way I think about sales. If you're just selling every single time, that is what your foundational relationship is based on. And you become spam and sales all the time. Why don't you spend all of January not selling ever once and opening your ears and listening and trying to help even outside of the context of you? Even outside the context of you. Meaning, how can you help them besides just their business? Maybe you'll get to know D-Rock and find out that his aunt is a huge Dallas Cowboys fan and you just get a Dallas Cowboys hat. Say, hey, you go to eBay and buy a Tony Dorsett opened starting lineup for 49 cents, $3 shipping, but you send in and say, hey, give this to your aunt. It's not what you spent, it was the thought. That stuff matters. My structure for my pitches is complete and utter no structure. I don't really structure my pitches a whole lot. My team may, in certain scenarios, have a deck, but there's, I'm sure, an inside joke in this company that when we go into that meeting, I'm gonna completely side rail and drive over that deck, which I do consistently. For me, I'm much more interested in reading the room and deploying what that client wants at that exact moment versus what we thought they wanted. In the same way I sold at baseball card shows, like I would just always react. I really think that my pitches are structured for counterpunching, which means no preparation from presentation form, but complete and utter presentation for knowing the content. See what I mean? This is the thing that most people don't understand. They think that you wing it. No, you're winging the way you're gonna present it. You're not winging what you actually know about it. So the way I prepare is holistically prepare, AKA know my shit. I know what I'm talking about in the things that I'm selling, and then basically I'm reverse engineering, deploying your needs against that expertise at that moment versus what order the deck needs to be for the presentation. My friends, the deck doesn't sell it. The presentation doesn't sell it. The skills sell it.
Jack asks, what are the most important traits or skills for a person to be, have, do in order to be good at sales?
Jack, this is a tremendous question. You know, it's funny, let me actually say this to everybody. I do think of myself as an entrepreneur, an operator, way before I think of myself as a personality or an author or a speaker. But if you dig down and push me into a corner, I think of myself as a salesperson before I think of myself as an operator. And so that excites me. And so I think a lot about sales. And really one of the areas that I have not spent enough time on. So in fact, I should write a book about sales. Alex, you know what? That might be the right next book. I really do, that's how I roll. I'm a salesman, like lemonade, blow pops, baseball cards, wine. Then it became selling myself. Then it became B2B, selling a service. But anyway, sorry, Jack, you got me into the right mindset. This whole show's got me in the right mindset. Look, I think I'm a great salesman because I listen. and I reverse engineer. I think the two biggest things that really work for me is you have to react to the other person. I have no romance about my sales pitch. I start, if they don't like it, I adjust. I'm a counterpuncher in the ring. It's much more Floyd Mayweather than it is Mike Tyson. Too many salespeople have their script or what they want to get off, and I don't care what they run through, and they're a bull in a china shop, and they go into a meeting, they start pitching, they can see the body language is crap, but they're not adjusting. That to me is a very poor salesperson. To me, it's really delicate. I think of it more ballerina than I do linebacker. I go in there, I know what I want to achieve, but I'm reacting. I'm reacting to the room. I think that is the single most important thing about a salesperson. The read, the adjusting mid-motion, mid-sales pitch, very, very important. And then starting with the finish line. For me, I really think that a salesperson is the best person on earth because they're reverse engineering the other person's needs and wants. So for me, when I'm selling a good bottle of wine, if somebody needs wine for a party where their boss is coming, though I may not want to recommend the big brand great wine, I may, because I know that's going to make them look good instead of some esoteric wine that nobody's ever heard of, though might be good, the big boss that they're trying to press might not like that. Same with my agency. I don't care about anything other than, look, what makes me a great salesperson is that I've been in sales pitches and I've realized halfway through, I'm like, I've literally said, you know what? I don't think you need our service. I think you need this. When you care about the other person more than you care about hitting your quota, when you make that shift, you go into the Jedi-ness of becoming a salesperson. Because guys, you don't understand, it's a big game. Imagine this, trying to hit a quota, you go into a room, you try to sell, you stop and say, you don't need us, you actually just need this other thing instead of our thing, which is a lot less money. Everybody in that room is affected by it. They're probably gonna bring you 2 sales, word of mouth, over the next 2 years, instead of that 1 sale that you would have had to grind for. It's that energy. It's that energy.
Max asks, what are some stories of when you've been sold to or sold to someone that you hate? And what are a few that you love? Maybe 1 or 2 from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hate anything that's transactional on the first move. I love everything that's got a long-term mentality. I hate the sprint. I love the marathon. I hate trying to go to the bar and close that night, one night stand. I love the marriage. I mean, it's not super complicated. Every story I like, I love the story, and I tell the story a lot of me schlepping a case of white Zinfandel to an old lady during a snowstorm, during a busy time at the store, because it set the tone for the way I wanted to do business. It turned out to be a good customer service story, but I'm a salesman. My intent was that her grandson was gonna think I was super noble, and he was a rich guy on Wall Street, and he was gonna buy $1 million worth of wine at Wine Library. I'm always going for the second chess move. First chess move's boring, right? It's why you take people golfing. It's why you take people to the ball game. You're building actual relationship. Now that's relationship. I'm thinking 2 chess moves. I like going to Twitter, finding out who I'm trying to sell to in a B2B environment, finding out that they're a hockey fan, and then sending them, they're a Blackhawks fan, and sending them a Bobby Hull signed puck, which only costs $100, with a note attached saying he was great, right? It's just like because it wasn't giving them swag, it wasn't giving them a bottle of Dom P, it was you took the time to realize what they most care about in the world and you sent it to them. You know, it's about going to that pitch and punting it and saying you don't need us, and having those 9 people recommend you for the rest of their goddamn lives, because nobody on the other side of this camera in this conference right now ever did that. I have. And I've made money. Because to be a great all-time salesperson and be an anomaly, you've got to act like one. The reason I have all-time great sales stories is because I've done different shit. I don't know if they beep that out or not, let them figure that out. So what are my favorite stories? The ones that showed me that the salesman's in it for life and they're deploying patience and cadence for life, versus the people that are looking for it right then and there, trying to hit a number for their goddamn bonus so they get like a trip to Hawaii this quarter.